So welcome everybody to this meeting, our last meeting of 2020.
20.
Time goes past, we keep disappearing, doesn't it? And it's our Christmas special, and it's lovely to see so many people with joining us from other clubs, friends, etc. It seems to be disappearing my screen. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's okay, good.
The bad news is, Tim, we can see you too.
You can actually see me. I'm sure that's not an advantage, really, is it? That's great.
That's why.
So, having done the welcome, we have obviously got some friends with us. Can I go through them? Lovely to see you, Sandra. Is Greg joining you, or is he just going to? Is he in the?
No, actually, he's doing some housework.
That might be more productive than listening to us lot.
Yes, thank you.
Lovely to see Ryan again from down in Devon, where he's escaped to. Lucky for some. We have Nick Drew, son of David, and Doreen. Lovely to see you. You're going to become a member, I hear. That's really good news.
Something to do with that.
The next one person to come up on my screen is our Bishop, Olivia. Good morning to you. Lovely to see you. And obviously we'll be coming back to you later on. Joy Arnott from Pangbourne.
Hi. And greeting from everybody from Pangbourne.
It's lovely to see you. Lovely to see you. Colin McLean. And is that Francis with you?
Yes, Colin and Jackie, my wife.
Jackie.
From Reading Abbey. Good to see you.
Abbey. Other friends, we have Nick, who's disappeared from the screen at the moment. So we'll carry
Nick is
on.
from Reading Abbey.
One of these down here.
I think that's all the guests we have at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's lovely to see you all. And of course, what one now says, as my brother-in-law phoned up, he's wished me a happy Christmas and a happy new year. Oh, you clever old boy. Yes. There we go. On that note, yes, I know that obviously COVID is high in the news. The other one is, of course, Brexit. And I didn't really want to spoil the meeting by talking about Brexit. But it's nice that Boris Johnson and Mr. Barnier have actually agreed on one. They both agreed to go the extra mile. So at least they're both accepting imperial measurements now, which is another good thing.
I did forget that.
Did you get that joke? No.
I think people, Tim, I think people ought to mute because we can't hear you.
Right, so that joke went completely flat because nobody can hear me. No. So yes, if you're not actually speaking at the time, can you all put yourselves on mute? Please. My wife says please. I'm not that polite. Then that'd be great. Yes, Frank, can you put yourself on mute because I think you're interrupting my flow. You spoiled my joke.
There's always one.
There's always one, isn't there?
Hang on, we're on mute. I lost you for a minute.
They are.
Are you on mute now? Well done, Frank. That's great. Thank you, Frank Mary. That's lovely. So I'm not going to bother with that joke again because it was a bit corny in any case. Right, I've gone through the those present. So those that aren't with us, apologies, please. Alan, you're on mute as well. It's the appliance of science.
Sorry, I was being a bit too efficient there.
That's right.
We have apologies from our own club, from Rod Cole, Catherine Cutts, Charles Hubbard and Stuart Scotchbrook, and from other clubs, from Linda Nix of Reading Matins and Tony Smith of Reading Abbey, and also friends of our club who I invited but aren't able to come, Tina Drew, Janet Offord and Jane Warren. Those are the apologies I have.
Thank you, Alan. You'll need to interrupt to burst out if you want to speak. Obviously, remember to take yourselves off mute. But have any members visited other clubs? Report on meetings for other clubs? A deathly hush in the close tonight. Obviously not. Right. Frank, Family Officer Frank, you'll have to unmute yourself. Frank?
There we are.
How are we
Well,
all?
I'm pleased to say that I have no news, which I'm interpreting as good news, unless anyone has anything to tell me.
No, I've not seen, nothing's come through at all. So I'm just hoping that a few more members will actually arrive as we carry on with our meeting. Right then, President's announcement. President's announcements. First of all, I would like to say the only event that's really happened, which happened a week ago, was we went on our Santa walk. 18 of us arrived. Many thanks to Bob for arranging it. Bob, you are with us, aren't you? Do you want to have a quick word about it?
Where is he? Is he there?
Of course.
Oh, here he is.
Bob, would you like just to just talk about it a little bit?
I think the event was well received. Everyone, I understand, enjoyed themselves, and I think it's something worthy a repeat on a more regular basis. Really, it was a walk which we managed to do within 1 hour. There was also a photo opportunity or two. So, yeah, I think it's a good thing to repeat.
Absolutely, and I think either you or Jeff or get a combination of the two of you can do a wonderful job of arranging a few walks for us next year, because we can stay nicely apart as we did.
Yes, it's a good opportunity to socialize and to get to know each other.
And the way you arranged the weather, I must say that I was very, very impressed. Very impressed.
Thank you.
Right, then the next thing that I've got on my list is obviously the main event that we're organising, and that's why we did our walk, was our Santa Run. Our Santa Run has been receiving high volumes, well, reasonably high volumes compared to other events that have been tried to arrange. Graham and his team have done an absolutely fantastic job in arranging it and organising it. Graham, can I come over to you? Do you want to give a little recap on what's happening?
Yeah, very briefly, we're now up to just over 250 entries. We're hoping to get some more, but since we've gone into tier 4, or Reading has gone into tier 4, they have slowed right up. What I'm going to be doing in the next couple of days is emailing all members in the hope that everybody will pitch in and help deliver the medals after Christmas, because it will save us a considerable amount of money on postage. It probably means that any member will not have to deliver more than between 5 and 10 sets of medals. They will be supplied with an addressed envelope and the medals. All you've got to do is put the medals in the envelope and pop them through somebody's letterbox. I think that's reasonably COVID safe, because all you're going to do is get out your car, stick it through the letterbox, and get back in your car again. We will need a bit of help in a couple of postcodes where we've got few or no members at all, local ones. That's RG1 and RG31. But other than that, we will save a considerable amount of money, because there are probably only about 50 entries from outside the immediate Reading area.
Great, thank you, Graham. Yeah, just a polite message, if anybody still hasn't entered, if you could do so, it just helps, just so we have a lovely coordinated effort from all the members of the club. Would be fantastic. Thank you very much. Now then, the nice bit of the meeting is we're now going to go through a bit of money that we're going to hand out. First of all, I'd like to start off with dictionaries, because I see Amir's there and he's all poised, ready to, aren't you, Amir? He looks like he's, wait a minute, just 1 minute. Are you on a,
I am, yes.
You're not on a business call, are you, Amir? No, okay.
I'll be honest, I was doing some work, but I'm off now.
Okay. Amir, have you got the figures? Would you like to spout them out, or would you like me to run through them? Right, no, I shall run through them for you.
I don't have them in front of me, but we've got a cheque going for £2,744 for 785 dictionaries. going to 16 schools. So that check's going off this week. And we're making 2 donations of £250 to 2 other schools towards their books for year 6. So in total, we've got a total fund of £3,244. Slightly down on last year, but still very welcome by the schools and appreciated the support that we're giving them.
That's excellent, Amir. Right, we need.
Can I ask whether Amir would be good enough to explain what we do with the dictionaries for the benefit of our visitor, our guest visitor, the bishop? She may not know exactly where the dictionaries go and why we give them.
Yeah, so we through Dictionaries for Life, I think it started by one of our Rotarians in 2008, and we distribute dictionaries to local schools as a leaving gift for year 6 pupils. And those dictionaries are ordered every year. We contact the schools around about October time to get the orders in, and we deliver them just before the end of their summer term, around May, June time, to the year 6 pupils. On average, we're delivering to about 17 schools who receive them in the Reading area every year. And they're greatly received, and they present them to the students. We used to, I think in previous years, we were attending some of the schools and presenting them to the individuals, but obviously in the current climate, we're just having them delivered, and they're actually presenting them to the year 6 students as a leaving present.
Thank you, Amir. So, by my reckoning, that is a total of £3,244. We'd need members please to ratify and agree to that payment. May I have a show of thumbs up or down? Everybody happy? The modern ones are giving me a lovely thumbs up on their machines, which is absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. That one is due. I think it's just gone to get one. If you can see that, I don't know if you can see that. That is a copy of the dictionary that we actually hand out to the members, to our school children. It's a lovely dictionary. It's got all sorts of things inside of it. It's an Usborne dictionary, and it's very well received. Thanks for that. That's lovely. Right then, so we've agreed that amount. The next amount we'd like to agree, please. Council agreed the other day that we should make a donation to Surdic. They have a type of window soup kitchen type of place, giving coffee and bits of nibbles and things out to those that are rough sleeping in Reading. They have actually at the moment got plenty of clothes in store, but they are lacking, I'm afraid, in the provisions to provide for this soup kitchen, coffee and food. We agreed to send them £500. Members, are we all in agreement, please? Thumbs up again. Thank you very much. Excellent. Yeah, that's got the go ahead. Brilliant. And our last one for this morning is the Reading Food Bank donation. Again, believe it or not, they've got plenty of food at the moment because they've been sourced from food from all sorts of places. They actually asked us that, to help them out with their communication system. They have volunteers to take the food out to different houses, to different people around the area, but the volunteers don't like using their own phones for obvious reasons, because then obviously the people can get back to them that have received the gifts. And a lot of the volunteers haven't got the sat-nav capabilities on their phones. So they asked us for a donation towards the phones, and we're very pleased that the council has agreed to send them £1,000 towards this project. Again, I need to go put that through council, through the club. Is everybody happy? Oh, hang on a minute. Bob's asking a question. Bob, do you want to come in? You're on mute. Oh no, you're just agreeing. Sorry. Everybody else in agreement? Thumbs up. Brilliant. Thank you. Seems we've got united support on that one as well. That's absolutely great. Right then, I've got other, that is the last of my questions. Yes, Tom.
Can I just say the dictionaries and the phones are being funded by RRCP?
You certainly can. You certainly can.
Just so everybody knows.
Yeah. So, yeah, the dictionaries and the food bank one is RRCP. That comes out of that fund, and the benevolent fund will be taking care of the Surdic donation. Can I also, while I'm here, just mention the amount of money that we sent to Kids Out? We agreed that £250 would go directly out of the club, which came out of our benevolent fund, I believe. And but individual members brought that figure up to £636.51. The odd amount of money is because we managed to reclaim a little bit of gift aid on it. But we actually sent a cheque for £636.51 to Kids Out as well. Whether that's gone in for toys, it might have been too late. Let's hope it's gone actually where the club members would like it, to send taking children out onto expeditions, which hopefully we'll get involved with again next year. So I think all in all, I think that is, we've done fairly well as our pre-Christmas handouts. But beware, members, there are a lot of needy causes, and I think the next two meetings will demonstrate a couple of other organisations that we might like to be help support in the next in the next month or so. So we're not there yet, or anywhere near that, getting to a sensible solution here. But to lower the tone, and as I know that Pangbourne have been out with their sleigh, with their reindeer, and somebody said, what do you call a blind reindeer? But I've no idea. No. The trouble is, when you're all on mute, I can't even hear you laughing. So
Groaning.
Or groaning, maybe, or groaning. Right, I go on to other members. Has any other members got any other things they'd like to say about anything?
Yes, I was going to let you know, Mr. President, that I received a card from the mayor. He came to talk to us in July. So here is his card to all Reading Rotary Club. All his best wishes.
Wow. Wow.
That's lovely.
Nice.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
President, may I just add to that? On Saturday, the mayor and his family did a 10K Santa Row down at Thameside, and Bill and I attended and took part in a video as well, which I understand will be launched later today. So we had a good entry from the mayor and his family, but they were also doing it for their own charities, one of which was Number 5, which I'm sure you'll all agree is a very, very good charity to be supporting. So as soon as I get the video, I will send it all to you and you can enjoy it on Christmas morning. Or not.
Or not, as the case may be. That's brilliant, yes. And it's lovely to think that we have got such good friends to the club, prepared to support us in many ways. Yeah, a lot of these pictures are downloaded and put on our website. There's some wonderful pictures of our walk. As you'll notice when you look at the pictures, we are all socially distanced like good boys and girls. Right, how are we getting on? We're getting quite well down. Has anybody else got anything they'd like to chip in with? No? You're a miserable lot.
Eric.
Yeah, as trustee of Surdic, thank you very much. At the moment, all we can do is give takeaway meals, not allowing anyone inside the building. But obviously we need the money just as always, so thank you.
It's our pleasure, it's our pleasure. And Eric, just obviously we don't want you to go short at Surdic, so I think you're fairly wealthy at the moment, having done your, but if you are short of anything, please let us know.
Thank you.
We might have received our assistant district governor, but I don't think he's arrived, has he? Tony's not arrived.
He did say that he has a daughter who has chronic disabilities and often he has to help her. And he said if he didn't come to, this would be the reason.
And well and good.
That must be the reason he's not come.
Okay then, so I'll go on now to the one and only, the Secretary's announcements.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to say that our first meeting in 2021 will be a fortnight today on the 5th of January, when our speaker will be Gabby McMillan of the organisation called Sparkles. They give therapeutic support for children with Down syndrome. Thank you.
Which I think will be a very moving and interesting meeting as well. So as many members as possible we could attend that. That'll be very good. The first meeting of 2021. Well, if nobody else has got anything they'd like to chip in with, has any of our guests got anything they'd like to bring from other clubs? Does anybody from another club like to chip in? No? Stony silence. Right. Then I think we want to go on to the main topic of the meeting, which is obviously our Christmas message. I did warn the Bishop that not all our Christmas messages are quite as reverent as the one that she's going to give. And I'd just like to remind that the one thing that women don't want in their stockings on Christmas morning is their husbands. Right, that is my Christmas message. But I would now like to pass you across to the Right Reverend Olivia Graham, the Bishop of Reading, who's going to give us a maybe slightly more polite and formal message.
Thank you very much. And good afternoon, everyone. It's really lovely to be with you. And thank you very much for inviting me. I'm not at all sure what you were expecting of a Christmas message of a bishop. And I'm not sure how often you've had a bishop at your Christmas meetings, but it is what it is, as they say, and so we'll see how we go. I just wanted to start off really by saying what an extraordinary organisation Rotary is. In preparation for today, I was started to look at some Rotary websites, yours and others across the world, and just got an amazing sense of the breadth and the depth of your engagement with communities. You know what a great organisation Rotary is, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time rehearsing it, but I just wanted to say that here in Reading, you are clearly people who make a difference, people who care, people who serve, people who give really generously of your time and talent and experience and money and organisational ability. And I'm sure that just like Eric, there are others among you who are engaged in other parts of the voluntary sector across Reading. And so you form part of quite an intricate network, a web of good work around the area. And although any activity, I suppose, which benefits others always leaves the doer with a little glow of contentment, I suspect that's not primarily the reason why you do what you do. I think you do it because you are humanitarians. You believe strongly in people and in their welfare. You believe in service. You believe in high standards in public life and individual behaviour. You believe that universal peace and goodwill are powerful and possible, and you work towards that. And peace and goodwill are, of course, the words of the season, the song of the angels. I know that you had some contact with my predecessor, Bishop Andrew, during his time in Reading. Some of you here may have heard him speak, and he may have told you about his experience as a priest and a bishop in Ethiopia, which is a country very dear to his heart. I also have a love of Africa. I spent 13 years working in Kenya, Djibouti, Somalia and Senegal before I explored becoming a priest in the Church of England. And in those places, I encountered many, many people. I met expatriates who had wealth, working for the UN and the World Bank and the bilateral aid agencies. I met expatriates who didn't have wealth, working for foreign non-governmental organizations like Oxfam, like me, Save the Children, Médecins Sans Frontières, and so on. You'd have heard the names. I met nationals of the countries I lived in, some of them working for local NGOs or churches, teachers, doctors, drivers, watchmen, politicians, paupers. And I saw great extremes of wealth and poverty. I saw breathtaking corruption and breathtaking examples of selflessness and generosity. I saw cruelty and I saw kindness. I met children and young people who told me of their ambitions to get an education, to get a job, to help their families, to change the world. I saw heartbreaking poverty and struggle for daily bread. I met people who'd lost everything when they escaped war and violence, and yet managed to be grateful for the tiny amount that they had. I met people who'd suffered greatly at the hands of torturers and despots, and I met people who had huge innate goodness. And what I realized is that people are the same across the world. The good, the bad, the arrogant, the desperate, the courageous, the fearful. A mother feels the same about her newborn baby wherever that birth takes place. It might be in a violent township in South Africa or in a comfortable and clean hospital in Reading. It might be in a tree in the Mozambique floods. I don't know if you saw those photographs a few years ago, extraordinary pictures. Or it might be in the back streets of bombed out Aleppo. And parents everywhere will do their very best to provide for their children, often going without themselves. And that's as true here amongst the struggling and hungry families of our neighborhood as it is in the dry Sahel, where there's no fodder for the animals and no milk. We find love and tenderness even in the midst of agony and despair. We share a common humanity, a common identity as human creatures in the 20th century, whatever the difference in our individual experiences of life. And we share a planet which is undergoing rapid and devastating climate change of such an order and at such a rate that unless we all act individually, as economies, as societies, this planet which we share will change beyond recognition by the end of this century, and all of our lives and the lives of our children and our grandchildren will be affected. Some parts of the world will become simply uninhabitable. There will be mass movements of people and displaced people from flood and fire, mass movements of refugees because of unrest and violence. Whole islands will be lost to the sea. And my goodness, the weather, what we've seen of the weather this year. We all know the scenarios. For many people on our planet, it's too late for anything we do to make a difference. Let me tell you one story about this. There's an island off the coast of Papua New Guinea, which is so low-lying that whatever we do as a global community to stabilize our climate and reduce the rate of warming and cut carbon emissions, this island will simply disappear under the water. For this island and its population, it's simply too late. It's too late to do anything. And so this is what they've decided to do. For some time now, the islanders have been holding community meetings and discussions and consultations. And by the end of this year, all of those people on the island who are under the age of 50 will leave the island and move to mainland Papua New Guinea to a new place which has been found for them. It's a place where a different language is spoken and different customs are observed, and the way of life is alien. And yet they will move, these younger ones, and begin to rebuild their lives and look to the future. And all of those over the age of 50 will stay on the island to watch over the bones of their ancestors, because to do anything else would be simply unthinkable. And that gives us pause, really, to look beyond the statistics and just to think about what the real impact of climate change is on us as human beings, on these families who are cut literally in two by the effects of global warming on the rise in sea level. And let's allow ourselves just for a moment to imagine the grief and the lament, the tearing apart, the grandparents who will no longer see their grandchildren and be part of their extended family, the children who will lose their connection with the land of their birth, and the older members of their community who have guided and watched over them. And then imagine that that were us. These are our sisters and our brothers. They're our children and our parents. We share a common humanity. So you feeling gloomy yet? I haven't even mentioned COVID, the economy, the stock market, the Port of Dover, the Brexit negotiations, lockdown, and a Christmas which ain't like what we thought it was going to be. There's plenty, isn't there? So the question is, how do we stay strong and optimistic and courageous in all of this? How do we stay motivated to carry on making a difference where we can? Yesterday was the winter solstice, the shortest and darkest day of the year. At 10 o'clock yesterday morning, the year turned and the light began to increase. It'll be imperceptible to start with, but within a few weeks, we'll notice the difference to the day's length. It isn't an accident that Christmas is at this time of the year, close to the solstice. The Christmas narrative, which is played out in a glorious mishmash of the gospel stories in countless nativity plays across the world, in normal times that is, and lots online this year. This narrative is so powerful that no darkness can stand in its way. It is, as Tom Holland in his wonderful book Dominion has argued, the foundation of our entire Western civilization, even in these post-Enlightenment days. And the message is this: all of life is a gift. Christmas brings us the greatest gift of all, the knowledge that we are all of immeasurable value, each one of us loved by a creator, and that creator is love itself. It's a story of hope, and hope is what we desperately need and long for, and what we reach out towards and cling to in these dark days. In this story, we have a pregnant teenager who can't or won't say who the father is, or at least when she does say it, everyone thinks she's making it up to cover her shame. We have a young man who stuck by her even though he was hurt and puzzled and didn't know if he'd ever be able to trust her again. We have a nation under foreign rule and a tedious journey made on foot or by donkey to fulfill some bureaucratic exercise imposed by the occupying power. We have the onset of labour, the panic to find somewhere to lie down, the offer finally of a cold, draughty shed with animal dung on the floor and nothing clean. And we have a birth, messy, bloody and painful. And then a pause. We switch scene. We watch closely. Some scruffy, unyouth and not very fragrant sheep minders who have seen and heard something that they can't explain, but which fills them with a strange excitement. They're actually blown away by the unearthly song that they've heard and going quickly to the little town to find out what's happening. They find and then quietly surround the feeding trough and look on the new life within it, a life which strangely fills them with hope, as it will millions more in the centuries to come. We gaze at the star, now thought to be the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn, which happens at this brightness about every 800 years, and in fact happened yesterday. We didn't see it because of the cloud cover in this part of the world, sadly. But this brightness leads strangers onwards on their difficult and dangerous journey, and it spills its light on the path and draws them towards that ramshackle shed. We notice them and what they're carrying. We wonder about their unusual gifts: gold, a sign of kingship; frankincense, fragrant and mystical, a sign of worship; myrrh, musty, a smell of death and what lies beyond. We listen to the song of the angels as it announces a birth which brings peace and goodwill, hope and love. Their song is more important than ever for all of us this Christmas. This ancient story of the coming of God into our world as a human baby sings to us across the centuries, as it has in every century, each one with its own horrors and challenges. And it reminds us that there is always, always hope, because there is always, always the undergirding of the Creator's immense love. This is part of the Christian story, and Rotary isn't, of course, a Christian or a faith-based organisation, but within it there will be many Christians living out their lives of faith and discipleship by serving where they're able to. Other faiths have beautiful foundation narratives, and common to them all is love and hope, and the treatment of others as we would like to be treated, and generosity, and the value and preciousness of human life, and of all life. Whether we have a faith or we have no faith, we are powerful when we join together with others who share the great values of faith. These others whom we might call people of peace, and we partner with them. We partner together to make the world a better place each day, a kinder place, a safer place, a more compassionate and caring place, a place where each precious person might be able to find their best path and to be their best self and to live in peace and goodwill. What motivates us? I wonder what motivates you. What motivates all people of peace? Where do we get this sense that we ought to make a difference? I think it comes from something profound in us, which we can't explain exactly, and which we don't need to understand or to justify. It's a place where our deepest humanity meets something else, which is a mystery. We all know in our heart of hearts that the coming months will be tough on all sorts of fronts. But we also know in our heart of hearts that the darkness always gives way to the dawn. A vaccine is coming. Our economy will recover. I can't predict what will happen with the Brexit trade negotiations. But there are signs of climate action everywhere, and Reading is leading the charge. And I have a strong sense that we can do this and that we will do it together. I'll just finish by sharing with you a sonnet written by the poet Malcolm Guite on the theme of one of the great Advent antiphons, O Dayspring. It's a sonnet which is charged with hope. Malcolm Guite writes, first light, and then first lines along the east to touch and brush a sheen of light on water, as though behind the sky itself they traced the shift and shimmer of another river flowing unbidden from its hidden source. The dayspring, the eternal primavera. Blake saw it too. Dante and Beatrice are bathing in it now, away, upstream. So every trace of light begins a grace in me, a beckoning. The smallest gleam is somehow a beginning and a calling. Sleeper, awake. The darkness was a dream, for you will see the dayspring at your waking. Beyond your long last line, the dawn is breaking.
Thank you.
Indeed, thank you very much, Bishop. That's there's some humbling words there, and very thoughtful, very thought-provoking. You say what motivates us as Rotarians, and really it is having talks like the one you've just given, and it really shows us and demonstrates to us that that where we may be comfortable, there are plenty that aren't, and if we can do something to support others in other places, indeed not too far from home either, then that is what we feel our duty. And of course we have fellowship as well, but that is what we are all about as Rotarians. So I do appreciate you coming along and sparing us the time this morning. And as I say, if we need motivation for next year, I'm sure that your words gave us that indeed. So I thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, and very wonderful to be with you today and to meet you, even if not in the flesh. And I just want to wish you all a very happy Christmas when it comes, however you're able to celebrate that. And I hope that you'll be in contact and in connection with others around you, because I think never more than now do we need connection with others. So I just encourage you in all of that, and God bless you all, and thank you for all of the work that you're doing, which I've read about on your website, and I've heard about a little today. It's very inspiring, and I'm hugely heartened to know that there are people of peace like you who are working within the communities and for the communities with such dedication and such joy. And so thank you all very much for being who you are and doing what you do.
Kind words. Thank you very much indeed. Right then, we're sort of drawing towards the end of our meeting now. I see we've got Grandpa Elf turned up. A bit late, Richard, but there we go. There we go. Never mind.
Better late than never, President.
Absolutely. Doubtful, but there we go. Yes, no, absolutely. Has anybody else got any Christmas spirit or Christmas woes to share with us? No, perhaps not. Okay.
Christmas spirit.
So what we have, hopefully most of you have got a glass.
Yeah.
If you haven't got a glass, well, never mind. But the idea is now to wish you all a very happy Christmas. Hopefully you will all be eating a little bit of turkey. I know some people have got massive turkeys for a few people. If you're just eating, let us hope your pizza will be deep and crisp and even.
They're not getting any better.
They are. Not while I'm ahead. I don't think I am ahead. That's the problem. But in any case,
I'm trying to see what it says on your hat, President. What does it say on your?
It just says no,
don't lean forward too far.
Yeah, it's but in any case, there we go. So to our friends, to the Bishop, to our friends from Pangbourne, Reading Abbey, Oakhampton, and others, our guests today, we wish you all season's greetings, and I hope you and yours have a very, very Merry Christmas. Cheers.
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 Stay healthy.
Happy Christmas to everybody.
We'll try to. That's great.